AI is here. It's not something that's coming. It's not something that's looming. It's not something that's just going to one day change the world. It's here and it is changing the world. And one of the huge advantages of it, I see it right now from a search perspective, is that it's wildly convenient.
Welcome to Girls Make Bank, the podcast show for women who want to learn the art of selling for business and for life. I'm Jac White, seasoned sales professional, entrepreneur, and owner of Honeybees Group. Come back each week to hear inspiring stories from some of our favorite business owners. Learn how to take the ache out of selling and make bank. We're all in this together, so let's get started. I cannot wait for you to listen to this episode with Meg Clarke, who is the founder of Clapping Dog Media. Meg and I met a couple years ago, and she is just so warm and generous with information and funny and smart. And I know you are going to love hearing about how she is building her business. She specializes in SEO, which is we both agree, unsexy topic around marketing, but it is so critical to providing visibility in your business and being seen. And Meg gets really vulnerable about what has worked in her business and what she calls beautiful failures. It's important for everyone to recognize when things aren't working and to pivot. And Meg has done that beautifully. So I can't wait for you to listen to this convo. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Girls Make Bank. I am so happy you're here, and I am so happy to welcome Meg Clarke from Clapping Dog Media to Girls Make Bank. I am a huge fan of yours, Meg, and every time we talk to you, you have such a warm, light, smart presence about you. And so I'm just happy to have you here to get to sprinkle some wisdom on the Girls Make Bank crowd.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you. I'm delighted to be here. And I am a raving fan. So this feels of Girls Make Bank and you. I love working with you. So I feel like this is just going to be a really great day and a really great conversation.
I think so too. So to kick us off, for our listeners who don't know you yet and who definitely should and will after this, tell us who you are and tell us about Clapping Dog Media and what you do.
Absolutely. I'll start from the beginning. So I'm Meg Clarke. I live in Northern Virginia, married, 3 boys, all those things. And I started my business in 2015-ish. After having a pretty big pivot in my career, like so many women out there, I, graduated from college and I was a graphic web designer, marketing person, and went to work at large agencies, PR and marketing agencies. Loved it, did it for 10 plus years. Then through a series of adoptions and just unforeseen events, we had 3 boys within 18 months. And so I quickly transitioned out of my full-time career and came home to be a stay-at-home mom to these guys. And very quickly, within minutes, realized that, wow, this is really hard. And I not much prefer, but I really wanted to work again. We needed the money because we just got 3 boys. And then B, it felt it felt really good to me to work. So I started just freelance web design for other women who were similar to me, who had a career, had this great big skill or product, and transitioned home and started a side hustle. And so I started doing web design for those people. And within 3 or 4 sites, I realized that they could have a beautiful design and a great product or service, but if they had no traffic, they got no clients. And what felt really stuck with them. So I started understanding analytics and marketing and SEO and really try to understand how to get clients to websites. And so I started, way back then, and realized there was not a lot of women in the market doing SEO, and that a lot of the people that were doing SEO were make it feel really complicated when I don't really feel like it needs to be. So that was the niche that I kind of found and got in and really enjoy helping clients kind of, I call it like find the gold in their pockets to
Mhm.
tell Google and now AI, hey, this is who I am, this is what I do, and this is where you should find me.
And I think your story is so relatable in the sense that the women I work with, myself, right? We've worked for companies, big companies,
Mhm,
little companies. Life happens and we find ourselves home raising young families, still wanting to work,
mhm,
needing to help bring in income to
mhm.
our families, wanting to do it on our own terms. And I feel like there are so many women right now who, you've been doing this for a while. Your boys
Mhm.
are like turning
Now
into
they're old.
men. Now they're turning
Yeah,
into
they
young
drive
men.
now.
Um, and even still, like even since COVID, that women doing their own things has just amplified and
Absolutely.
gone so much faster. Um,
Mhm.
so many people focus on the I call it the sexier part of
Yeah,
marketing, which is sort of where
yeah.
you started. SEO in particular, less sexy.
Not sexy at all.
Talk to me about like that specialization. And you mentioned it a little bit, why you
Mhm.
decided to zone in on that. How important is SEO? Because I feel like it's the ugly stepchild of marketing where
Yeah.
women still are intimidated by it. We're not
Mhm.
focused on it, but super important and wildly changing right now.
Wildly changing, and it's still really important. So even if you don't know what SEO is, SEO is basically getting traffic from Google. So when you Google something, the work that I do helps you show up on hopefully the top three of those
Mhm.
results, but definitely on page one. And why this is important is there are 8 billion Google searches. I mean, people are constantly Googling and people look for services
Yeah.
online. So and now it's like AI. So now we can really start combining the word Google with AI search because it's very similar. So I think some of the statistics that I used to say prior to AI was that if you were found on within the top three of Google for a keyword, you can get like 30% more traffic month over month based on that keyword. So the game was to rank for as many keywords as possible.
Mm.
And if you did, you brought in warm traffic. And I love all the other sexy parts of marketing like social media and ads, but those those marketing strategies are kind of disruptive. Like people are scrolling and then they see you and they may or may not click on you. So it's it's a pretty big gamble versus when people are looking for you, they either want to know, they either know your brand name or your name, or they want your services. So they're already further down that buyer's journey and they're warm leads. So the people
Mhm.
that come to you after looking are so much more likely to close than people who just are scrolling and they're like, oh, that looks like fun. Now, different industries, there's certainly different rules. If you're selling like really fancy like makeup or clothes or something, and of course Instagram is a wonderful place for you, but for a lot of product and services that I work with, if you can show up on Google and you can consistently pull in that organic traffic, it really is a game changer for the business.
Yeah. And you mentioned AI. I
Mm,
sat in on a masterclass that you taught a few weeks ago on AI and how it's changing SEO and how people are found. Can you talk a little bit about that?
absolutely. Well, AI is here. It's not something that's coming. It's not something that's looming. It's not something that's just going to one day change the world. It's here and it is changing the world. And one of the huge advantages of it, I see it right now from a search perspective, is that it's wildly convenient. Like right now, if you go Google something and you get to the Google search results page and there's ads and there's maybe questions also asked, and then there's maybe some video links, and there's just a bunch of stuff on that page. A bunch of stuff that you, as the searcher, need to kind of go and investigate. Like you searched for something and Google gives you back these results, but it's up to you to kind of figure out which one is good for you and what
Mhm.
you're really looking for. Now, the contrast is if you search in, AI, and this is Chat, Gemini, Perplexity, there's a bazillion of them. They synthesize the answers, and so they kind of do that research for you. So when you search for something, ChatGPT says like, "Hey, here are the answers. Here's what I think based on you and everything that you've used ChatGPT for. Here are the things that I think you're really going to like." So it takes out that research and that like overwhelm of all the answers. And
Mhm.
so I actually totally predict that AI visibility is going to be hugely important for businesses to be found
Yeah.
because ChatGPT just makes it easy.
Yeah, it's true. And I, for the first time, had people saying that they found me or were found through ChatGPT, which blew my mind and kind of
Yeah.
freaked me out because I'm like, how did that happen? That wasn't on purpose.
There's
What was
no
that for?
Yeah.
Um, and so even when I do my Google searches now, I don't know if I signed up for this or I'm opted into something. Is it Gemini? That's
Mhm.
Google, will give me a summary and
Yeah.
recommendations on the top. So
Yep.
even if you think you're not using AI or it's not impacting your search results, let's say you're like, oh, I don't use ChatGPT, I don't know anything about
Right.
it. AI is happening anyways. You're
Yeah.
getting AI even if you don't know and you're not asking for it.
Absolutely, you are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I do think it's just going to be like one day we're just going to wake up and it's just like going to be the subtle change where it is now just AI.
Mhm.
Like Google is now just AI. It's like
Yeah.
we got a phone and we used it to call people. And then we're like, maybe we should text. And now we use it for all of the things except for a phone. And I
Yeah.
think that eventually is going to be what AI does.
Yeah,
It
it's
just
like
is.
us with technology and iPhones. My son
Yeah.
asked me, "Well, how old were you when you got a phone?" And I said, "I don't know, I think 20 or 21." And he's like, "I'm not waiting that long." I'm like, "Well, you're still 6, so settle down." I think that's going to be
Yeah.
the next thing is people are just gonna be grow up with it and not think anything else.
Yeah, and I
But
would like I love to geek out about, like, what I think that could look like for us.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for us who did not grow up with SEO, right? We've had to learn it. For a lot of the women that I work with and I talk to, SEO is really intimidating. They're already overwhelmed with all of the things they need to
Mhm.
do to run their business. If you're that woman, where do you start with
Yeah.
SEO? How do you start thinking about it in a way that makes an impact?
So helpful. So absolutely. And let's back up a little bit. And um, first of all, I want to say that SEO for Google and SEO for AI, there's so many overlaps.
Mm,
So, like, I would say if it was a Venn diagram, there's like 80 to 85% overlap. So, if in
that's
like your
good.
case, if you have a site that's qualified for Google,
Mhm.
you're there for AI.
Great.
And let's just talk a little bit about it. So, from Google's perspective, they told us a couple of years ago, I think it was like in 22, this is how they define search. So, from Google's perspective, and remember, Google makes bazillions of dollars from ads in Google. So, this is not a side project for them. Being well found in Google is very important because they make bazillions of dollars from ads. Every time
Mhm.
you show up on a Google search results page, they get paid. So, from Google's perspective, it's when trillions and trillions of people are searching in hundreds of languages and they want an answer in less than a second. So, from Google's perspective, they have to understand the whole internet and the intention of what people are looking for all at the same time to match up the best website for every query. So, in order to do that, they need to quickly understand your website and who you are and what you're all about. So, from an SEO perspective, what does this mean? It means having clear page titles that are not coy or sly or funny. It's very succinct. This is what this page is about. This is exactly what I do and who I help. Like, the more you can help Google by telling them who you are, what you do, the impact you make, and what that page is about, the less time they need to read, they need to spend trying to understand what your page is. So you have to be, so at the very basic level, it's telling Google who you are as easily and succinctly as possible. And that means headlines, page titles, and that your content is easily skimmed. Like if pretend that you're standing on a metro train. You can tell I'm in DC because it's a metro. But if you're standing on a bus or a train and you're scrolling a page, if you skim it, can you understand what that page is about? If the answer is yes, then it's great for Google. If the answer is no, you have to read all the little tiny text, then it needs to be reworked.
Got it.
So that's Google. That's Google. They would understand that. They define the best websites by websites that are engaging. So Google thinks if somebody Google something, they click on your website and they spend 10 seconds, they scroll or they click, then that site is a good answer. So the game for Google SEO is engagement. So there's lots of things that we can do to increase the time spent on a page, like breaking up your paragraphs, make them 2 sentences so that people can scroll, add images, embed videos. All of these are techniques that we do to increase the engagement. Now, all of that's true for AI search, AI visibility. The only caveat is AI is like, look what we got. Look what we've done here. We've made it really easy to create highly intelligent content that is interesting. So anyone can say that they are an expert in anything. So I could say that I am a neuroscientist and spend 20 minutes on ChatGPT and build out a website content that makes me sound like I'm a neuroscientist, which I am not. So AI realizes that they've created this.
They've created the monster.
They've created
now
the
they
monster.
need to contain the monster.
Yeah. And so what they're looking for is expertise. So if you say that you're a neuroscientist, then it better be obvious other places on the internet that you're a neuroscientist. So that is something like your podcast, your LinkedIn profile, your social media profiles. On LinkedIn, do you post about being a neuroscientist? And if AI can make the connection, hey, this is what they say on their website, and it also shows up around the internet, this third-party validation, that's what AI is looking for. So it's engagement and then engagement plus third-party validation.
Verified. It's sort of like the verified check.
Totally. Are you who you say you are?
Yeah. And so if you are not a technical person, so page titles, I don't even know how to do that. But most of us are creating content. And so being really thoughtful about how we create our content in a way that it's informative, it's highlighting our expertise, it's I like skimmable, right? You can read it easily. And then showing up in multiple places so that AI can then verify that you are who you say you are, you know what you say you know, and that you're essentially trustworthy.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And so in most cases, it's actually just doing what you're already doing.
Yeah.
Like you're running a good business.
Yeah.
Now we just need to make sure your pages, the content that you're creating, whether it's a video, a podcast, or a blog, that it's understandable. Like if you are a 7-year-old golden retriever, you can read this and be like, I know what she does. I know what this is about. Then you've made it.
So the content piece is really helpful. I think that's something we can all, no matter what our technical expertise is, we can say, okay, I can create this content with SEO, whether it's Google or AI in mind. If we wanted someone to do one layer deeper and sort of say, okay, page titles, audit my website, is that an incredibly labor-intensive thing to do and clean up? Because there are probably people who are listening who are thinking, I know this is important. I've heard it's really important. Sounds like a big undertaking. How big or small is it to sort of just do an audit and make a few changes? How impactful is that? Or do you need to kind of do a whole big thing?
It's a great question. And, unfortunately, there's not a one size fits all. It kind of depends on your website. If you have been around for less than 2 years and maybe create 1 to 4 pieces of content a month, it's pretty straightforward and pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
So that audit is not a big deal for us. We do those all the time. We could have those back to you within a couple of weeks and then give you really clear recommendations that either you implement or somebody on your team or my team can do it for us and say, hey, we need to fix these 5 things. And that's going to be the biggest bang for our buck.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been around for 2+ years, you have podcast and or a video stream and or blogs and or a membership, then it can get a little bit hairier and it takes a little bit of time to dissect and tease out what's going to be the biggest bang for a buck. So it kind of goes back to the size of your site and where all you're showing up, because now we're looking at the ecosystem. Like, are you on multiple platforms? Do you have, a Substack? Do you have YouTube? So we need to look at it from a whole ecosystem and make sure that they're tied together. So that one's a little bit more complicated, but I think the 2 year or less, pretty straightforward. 2 years or more, it can get a little bit more complicated.
Yeah, depends on all the things.
Yeah.
Good. So you have now been in business for over 10 plus years, right?
Yeah.
What has been one of the bravest decisions that you've made as a founder, besides starting your own business to begin with, which I think scares most of us?
Well, I think that's a really wonderful question. And I think that, running a business, being an entrepreneur, um, being a woman doing all of the things, I think the biggest learning curve is self-development through this. It's like, I think that I'm running a business, but it turns out it's this road of self-development because it takes so much bravery to put yourself out there. It takes so much bravery to say, hey, I am an expert in this. And I know what I'm talking about when there's big companies and corporations who do this. So I think it took a lot of time for me to get the confidence and to have the expertise and to lean on the expertise to say, hey, this is who I am and this is what I do. And this is the track record that I have. And that was just kind of coming into my own self. And, I leaned a lot on the agencies that I had worked for before because they were big names. And I was like, oh, look who I'm associated with. And then you move into these titles of I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a this, I'm a that. And to say, hey, I am those things, but I'm also this thing that stands alone. And so that is this beautiful evolution of us, of being women entrepreneurs, I think, is just this self-development. So kind of along the way, it's everything from raising prices to having boundaries of, clients can come to you and say, I want all of this done. And it took me a long time to say, I'm not doing all of that for you. This is what I do. This is what I'm an expert in. And this is why you're going to hire me. If I'm not the person, being okay with that. Like that was huge for me because I could do those things because I am like sending out emails for my company. I am posting on social media, but that's not what I'm good at. Like that's not why you hire me.
Right.
And so I think I have gone through this growth, this personal growth. And then once you kind of get there, you're like, oh, let's do this. Like I see all these, I'm influenced by these people who are like, well, I have this membership and I have this program and I made, I don't know, I made $3 million in my sleep last night. And I'm like, oh, I could do that. So then it's leaning into trying these new kind of platforms or new offerings. And that's hard. Nobody makes $2 million overnight.
No.
And leaning into that. And so I did that. I started a membership group. I had a lot of help. Like I leaned on a lot of advice, like how do you do this and how you do it well. And I spent a year building it, branding it, taking photos for it, building a website for it. getting people in at various price points, getting great feedback, and then
Mm-hmm.
launching it. And I did it for, say, 6 to 9 months. And it was a beautiful failure. Like, I enjoyed it. I loved the people that came. I was expecting growth of, it was a membership program that was very low fee compared to my monthly one-on-one fee. I was overly generous with what I would provide for the people there. I was hoping to add, 3 to 5 people a month to my program. And there were months where I didn't add anybody. And so it took a lot of time and a lot of effort and low fee. Like, it was negative money from a time perspective. And knowing when to say, hey guys, I know this is really disappointing that you've bought into this program, all 8 of you, but it's now over and we're gonna wrap this up. And then, like, really just kind of closing the door on something that
Yeah.
I thought was gonna work.
Yeah. I love that you called it a beautiful failure.
Yeah.
That's such a good reframe because we often talk about things in terms of being successful or failing. And
Mhm.
it's like we should really think about failure as a beautiful thing because we're
Mhm.
learning something and
Yeah.
when you fail it means you tried, and so many people don't try. The fear of failure holds them back, or the need for perfection stops them from putting something out there. So number one, I just want to acknowledge that I'm going to start using that beautiful failure phrase and try to reframe things for myself in that way.
Mhm.
And also, as an outsider, I saw all of that happening. And I thought it was such a brave choice. And the way you messaged it was so
Thank you.
um, honest and genuine. And so, talk about
Mhm.
that the emotion that goes into making a change like that, because every
Sure.
business founder, I think, especially as a woman, because we tend to take things a little bit more personal, or a lot more
Oh, so much
personally.
more personal. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so now that you're a little bit removed from it, you can call it
Mhm.
a beautiful failure, although at the time it probably didn't feel like that, and that's not the way you would have described it in the
Sure.
moment. So, talk about number one, what you looked at in your business in order to get to the point that you decided to make that change, and what kind of gumption you needed to sort of muster up to be able to do it in
Mhm.
what looked like a beautiful way from the outside.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. And I think it's also, like, worth noting that it was only a failure from a money perspective. And
Yeah,
if I did not need to make money, and if
right,
I did not want to make money, we would be doing it all day long because it
right.
was so fulfilling and it was
Fun.
fun
Hmm.
and it was like the name was Search Party.
I
I'm like,
loved
that
the
is
name and the
fun.
branding. Yes.
Yeah.
And potentially, this is what I love about things like this is, what I want to know is also, what did you learn?
So much,
Because
right?
Search Party as an SEO membership, like, I think there's a revival in the making there. And so,
I hope so.
how, what did it feel like in the moment when you were making that decision? And then how do you take all of that learning and apply it to
Oh,
the next
well,
thing?
it's so unsexy. Like, I got real excited about it because we had fun branding. We had, like, it was like, all the branding, I'm wearing party hats and we had disco balls and it was so fun. And so it was basically like a video course that I added to every month. And then I was live an hour every week to answer questions. And so I thought, and the people that came were delightful. The people who came to my party, I would really have to a party. Um, and I thought that it was a marketing issue because I was like, this is so great. Why wouldn't everybody want to come here? Like, why wouldn't everybody want to learn this? And it was a real hard for me to understand that most people don't actually want to do it. It's
Mm,
not sexy and it's not fun. And even if you make it like easy and impactful, it's kind of like, I don't know, like cleaning out your basement or something. Like people want it done, but they don't want to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
so we had a lot of people sign up because they wanted to learn, they wanted it to be done, but they never found time to do it. And so people would sign up, they wouldn't engage, they wouldn't do it, and then they didn't want to pay every month. So there was a lot of turnover. And I got this feedback real quick. I don't have to do it. I just want to hire you to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
this was such a good price that I thought I could do it, or I could hire somebody to do it. My kid could do it or whatever. And the thing that was sticky for me is that people told me this for a long time. And I was like, no, 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 no. I just
Yeah.
haven't reached the right people.
Right.
Like, I need to change my marketing. I need to change my messaging. I need to do more. So I'm taking more on my plate as the back door is wide open.
Yeah.
And that happened for 4 or 5 months of like, I would maybe get 2 new people, but I'd lose 3 people. I'd get
Mm-hmm.
1 new person and I'd lose 4 people. And that was the feedback of they loved coming to the lives. They loved asking me questions. I loved answering their questions, but they never actually did it. And
Mm-hmm.
so people want it done for them. And that was the lesson that took me many, many, many months
Yeah.
and many, many hours and many dollars that I wish I would have learned sooner. And so I think moving forward, so I got this feedback and I was like, okay, I have to shut this down. And I didn't have that many people. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, it was like less than 5. And so I told them, they're like, we totally get it. We feel like we're stealing from you because we ask you questions every week for an hour and you're telling me all the answers.
Yeah.
So we get it. And so I closed it down. I felt really sad about it because I just wanted it to work so
Yeah.
well. And then it didn't. And then I kind of beat myself up for not like listening
Right.
because
Yeah.
I would have saved so much heartache and time and the cost of not having sales calls and not doing the work for my one-on-one clients. I don't even want to count. I don't
Yeah.
even want to count.
Yeah. And a lot of times I just did an episode about this, about like the hard things. There's a psychology term, and now I can't remember it, where it's like the anticipation of doing the hard thing is harder than actually doing the thing.
Absolutely.
So it's the idea of having to make a decision around, do I keep this going? Do I shut it down? Do I have that hard conversation? I'm going through something right now where I need to sort of like fire somebody, a vendor that I'm working with. And it's
Yep.
like, I've been dragging my feet on it
Mhm.
for a while because I don't want to have the conversation. And I know as soon as the decision is made and the conversation is done,
Yep. You're going to be
you feel
free.
so much better. You're like, oh my gosh, why did I carry this weight around me
Yes.
for so long? And now you're free. And so it probably opens up a lot for you where there's sadness there because you really want it to work. But now there's this lightness and this freedom for you to be able to move forward with what is
Mhm.
working. And then you
That's
can run
right.
it that so much harder. And that's a
So
good
much harder.
lesson for everybody.
Yeah. Like, and I knew I had people telling me, hey,
Yeah.
this is working for you. You have people want your one-on-one work. People want you to do it for them. And that's not a problem. And so, and that is like, say, a 4-figure
Yeah.
business,
Yeah.
like 4-figure a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm trying to sell this thing for
I know.
$170 and I can't do it. And so I'm stressing over
Yeah.
$179 when people were paying me, $1,500
Right.
to get it done for them. That it's either I don't even have to sell.
Right.
And so that was really like, and it seems so obvious. And so like, duh, like,
Now it
can you
does.
not add Meg?
Right.
And so, and again, it's like this
Yeah.
personal growth of like, hey, I know you really wanted that new thing and it didn't work and it's okay. But look what's over here that's
Right.
blooming.
Yeah.
Like, and so those transitions and those pivots are really tricky.
Yeah. And
They're
so,
tricky.
what would you say to another woman or founder that
Mhm.
is facing a similar crossroad where she's trying to figure out Do I keep going? Do I pivot and make the adjustment? What's your advice to her?
And this sounds so light, but if it's really hard, like we need to lean into hard, and we need to do
Mm,
difficult things. And there's a lot of difficult things that are more on this like personal, having hard conversations, doing hard things. But then if something is just hard and you're constantly beating your head up against the wall, it doesn't mean that you work harder. And
yeah.
that's what I did. I was like, oh, my sunk cost is I need to dig in harder. I haven't told enough people. I haven't marketed enough. I haven't done enough ads. I haven't. And I kind of ran out of options. And like, that's kind of when I was like, well, I give up
Mm-hmm.
after, and I'm stubborn. It's like, I just tried all of the things and then made all of the excuses of like, well, I didn't use the right words. I didn't use the right picture. I didn't tell somebody, it was like, I did all of this wrong. And that was the story that I kept telling myself. It was like, well,
Yeah.
if I just did this better, people would want it.
Yeah.
And so my advice is the harder that you try, and if you're doing a good job and it's not working, quit.
Yeah.
Stop it. And it's not
Yeah.
quitting. It's just stop beating
Do
yourself
something
up.
else. Focus somewhere else.
Yeah.
Sometimes the path of least resistance is the path to go down.
Yeah.
That's the way you should move.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
it's really good feedback where you're like, look, people want this done for them. This
Mhm.
is what this is. And by the way, that's a high ticket offer.
Yeah.
Great, great business to be in, great consumer feedback. Move
Yeah.
that way. So I love that.
It's
And
hard.
so, what is next for Meg and Clapping Dog? Where are you
Well,
spending your time building and growing now?
well, I mean, I would love to see what the update is in 6 months here on this thing. But for a million years from the very beginning, it was the story that I told myself was that I'm not good at managing people, that I don't want a lot of people, that I love all of the deep relationships that I build with my clients, and that I need support from an admin perspective, like bookkeeping and billing and all that stuff. But I do not want an agency.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just, and I have had a wonderful business. And if I do zero other things, I've had a wildly successful 5-star business. But I'm at the point where I'm leaning into AI. I really love AI visibility. And I feel like it can make a huge impact on businesses. So I want to help bridge that gap, make it not overwhelming, not intimidating. And I just like see all of this potential there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm leaning into that. And that means that I can't do all the work, that I need to spend my time telling people, being on podcast and making content, but not actually pushing all the buttons. So I've added to my team, like, which is crazy and
Yeah.
expensive and hard. And like, it makes me catch my breath when I'm like, wow, okay, I love what we did. And I'm holding it with loose hands, giving it, a number of months to see if we can make it work. But right now I'm trying to scale and
Yeah.
lean into AI and be an AI visibility vendor for businesses and entrepreneurs who just want ChatGPT to recommend them and help them understand why and how.
I love that.
So I'm
Because
scaling.
yeah, what 2025, I mean, we're not even over yet.
Mm-mm.
And what a year of growth and transformation for
Right.
you. When you
Yeah.
think about where you started at the beginning of the year,
True.
launching something that, again, quote unquote, beautiful
Mhm.
failure, but actually learned a lot.
Yeah.
And now you're going into this season of expansion in
Yeah.
your business. I just think that is the beautiful part of
Yeah.
entrepreneurship and being a
Mhm.
founder and being able to ride the ocean of business where it's like,
Mhm.
look, this is not something that worked out, but by closing that down, you've opened up this whole other sounds like bigger opportunity.
Yeah.
in the long run and something you're really interested in and passionate about. And you get to learn and you get to grow and you get to bring this really exciting thing that's also very intimidating to a lot of
Mhm.
people and make it
Yeah.
accessible to them. So that's
Yeah.
kind of maybe what you're great at is making scary things accessible to people so to raise their visibility.
Which I think is so beautiful that you said that, because that's something my husband says to me. Who is also like, when we go on walks for the dogs, like it turns into business strategy.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Help me. He does business strategy for big corporate government stuff, but and he's like, yeah, I have always played small and said, well,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm really great at writing good page titles, and I'm really great at understanding how Google works with a site and fixing a site so that Google can read it. And the, I don't know, I felt like, well, that's what I do. I'm the button pusher and the connection maker for a website. And I
Mhm.
can only do so many a month. So this is the size that my business is willing to grow.
Right.
I've had people throughout the years that just didn't fit. And to lean into, other people can do that. You can oversee it
Mhm.
and level up. And that has been a really scary,
Yeah.
I don't want to like
Yeah.
overwhelming, like
It's the
really,
who,
really
not
hard.
how.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And people have been saying that for years, and I never really believed it. And like, I don't want to be an agency. I want to touch on my
Yeah.
client sites. That could go really bad if it wasn't. I wouldn't touch all my clients. I want to be involved in all of their stuff. And so that's kind of actually why it feels good. I feel like this is the right path, because it's so hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. How can people get in touch with you if they want? How can people touch you to get in touch with you
Come
if
on over.
they if they want to? Hop on a train, bus, catch the metro.
Yeah, that's right. We're on the metro. Staying on the metro. Well, the thing, I show up a lot on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, Clapping Dog Media, you can find me. I try to post, I don't know, 3 to 4 times a week. Sometimes I'm great. Sometimes it's once a week, but I show up there fairly often, and that's my favorite way to communicate with clients. And then at clappingdogmedia.com, I do quick audits that kind of help you understand where you are. And what to do next. They're really low fee, can get them to you in a couple of weeks and give you exactly what you need to do if you want to implement it, or of course you can hire us to do it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Meg. I look forward to just always talking to you.
Oh, me too, friend.
And yes, and thank you for getting vulnerable and honest about your experience and helpful in
I hope so.
rethinking some of the things that we're doing. So I appreciate it. And I look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me show up.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Make Bank. If you like what you've heard, please remember to subscribe, like, and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. Please review and share our show to help spread the word and help your girls make bank. And I'd love to hear from you. Connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram, or visit honeybeesgroup.co. Until next time, friends.